we had to pull over. The rain was so bad that you couldn't even see 2 feet in front of you.
Did you have any indication that the weather was going to be bad when you started your trip home, or did anybody tell you maybe you should have taken cover?
Well, we knew that, watching the news, knowing that the storm was headed our way, but when I had left, there was no sign of nothing, the lightning, a little rain, but when I got to Sykeston, nothing in Sykeston, maybe a little thunder, maybe a little lightning, but when we got on our way back home, it hit us pretty hard.
Yeah, it's a scary situation.
Have you ever been caught in anything like this before?
Once, and I was in maybe 5th grade.
You don't want it to happen again. Twice is enough, right? Frightening.
Well, we appreciate you calling in. We're glad you guys were safe. That definitely is a scary ride home for sure.
Thank you, Mark, for calling in. Again, you just saw a few seconds ago some video taken on the Bill Emerson Memorial Bridge by our photojournalist. There it is again, John Morgan. Looks right now, it's kind of hard to tell if it's still raining out there or not, but it was quite a night in Cape Girardeau.
All right, let's go back over to Bob now for the latest.
Well, the latest is good news because the tornado warning that included parts of Cape Girardeau, Scott, Stoddard, and Alexander County, Illinois, that has been canceled. That's certainly good news for us right now. There's still warnings in effect ahead of that line of storms, but there's severe thunderstorm warnings now, and you can see it from Mississippi County on east to Graves County, Kentucky. We have other segments along that line with severe thunderstorm warnings, but as of right now, the only tornado warnings for any of our heartland counties, and this really is good news for us, that so many now have come down, is this one across the boot heel, and we are still very concerned about that one, although as we saw a moment ago, the Titan impact was showing it had weakened somewhat. Still, if you live in southern Dunklin County, as well as southern Pemiscot County, in fact much of Pemiscot County, that is potentially a very dangerous situation for you there because of the strong winds associated with those storms and the potential, at least, for tornadic activity going there. And of course this may push right on into Lake County, Tennessee as well. We've got some scattered areas back toward the west that are not severe, but nevertheless there have certainly been lightning strikes with many of those. This is closer to where the frontal boundary is, and it will be coming through, of course, as we go through the rest of the night. The white lightning strikes are immediate ones, or milliseconds from within when they have happened, and the yellow ones are a few minutes old, but you can see so much lightning stretching all along this area of this line of storms that has continued, and we're even having enough convection to have some lightning strikes back here behind that leading edge of the storms. Look at the past hour, 2,100 strikes, 2,158. It just keeps on counting, at least within the area. John's drawn a box around here, and within that area, that's how many lightning strikes have been, cloud to ground strikes actually, not necessarily cloud to cloud strikes, but just cloud to ground strikes that have been falling, so, or occurring. That's what I'm trying to say. It's been a long evening. Anyway, we've got lots of lightning out there, and that's always a serious problem. Taking a look outside, you can see perhaps a few lightning strikes in the distance in a moment, but right now we're not seeing any as we look southeast. Oh boy, I spoke too soon, or maybe didn't speak soon enough, because they came right on cue here as we look across the Emerson Memorial Bridge. Water on the lens, of course, after all the storms that have come through. Marianne and Jeff, it's been quite a spectacular night, and we're not quite finished yet.
No, not at all. It has calmed down maybe just a little bit in this neck of the woods. But as I drove in tonight, that's what scared me the most, was the lightning, because you see all those power lines, you just think of something collapsing on top of your car. That was really frightening because it was nonstop.
Well, and there's power outages pretty much everywhere. 1,200 to 5,000 people in Cape County, we understand. Ironton, Steelville, Farmington, Perryville, Energy, Illinois, you pretty much name it, and there are power lines.